What is up, YouTube? I am Eric and you are watching Retro Video Game Pickups. In this video, we are talking about game collecting and how it's hard to find games sometimes. So if you like games, consoles, or product reviews, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell notification. With that being said, let's hop into it. Okay, so you saw the title of this video. If you were watching it, you saw that game collecting could be drying up and what to do when it's in your area. Well, there's some things that I like to do to try to keep my mind from wandering and thinking, well, it's time to give up, I can't find anything else, I'm just gonna go ahead and pack up my collection, put it in the attic, or sell it off on eBay. That's not what I want to do. So when I talk about game collecting drying up, I mean it's hard to find games. You're not seeing games listed for sale anymore, you're not finding games, it's hard to find games. So what do I do when game collecting is drying up in my area? I keep working hard. And I say that as an end-all be-all, but in this video I'm going to talk about more things and more ways to get games when you are not able to find them in your area. So I'm going to say a few things and then I'll let you guys know kind of what I think about my certain area and how it works out. Now, it is January, so that means it is a slow month, which means I've not been finding much. Now, I say this every time, oh well, it's just January, I'll pick it up in February or March and I'll be perfectly fine. And usually that happens. Can I tell you that's going to happen this year? No. Can I tell you it's going to be dry the whole year? No, I can't. But what I can do is keep working hard at it, and then that way when it isn't dry, I can be the one who finds the games. So first off, I want to say you gotta look at what you have in your collection. Now, I have a ton of games, and I have a box full of games down here that actually needs to be sold. So what does that mean? I can take this time to take these games, go through them, list them, sell them, and then have money for whenever I do find games that I need or I want, or whenever it stops being dry in my area. Or I can take that money that I just made from those games and I can go to Mercari, I can go to eBay, I can even go to Facebook Marketplace. They're doing shipping now apparently. I haven't tried it, but apparently it works. So there's a few things you could do to offset the whole my area's dry, I can't find any good games. So I've got a ton of games over here. A lot of Wii games, not to put Wii down, but I see a lot of Wii games and they're usually pretty cheap. So I pick them up if they're good, decent games, and then I will collect them, I'll sell them, I'll flip them, do whatever I need to do to make more money, and then I'll be happy with that. Now, some people are afraid to do that, and I think those people are missing out, because if I pick up all these games that I already have, like I could see a Nintendo Land, I can see a Legend of Zelda on the NES, I could see Donkey Kong Country Returns. I've talked about those in recent videos about what to look out for, but with those games, I can buy them for cheap and sell them and make money in order to buy games that I actually want or need for my collection. Like, I've got a ton of expensive games. I say a ton, there's a few that are top tier and I spent way too much money on. But all of that money was actually spent from buying games cheap and selling them for a higher price and being able to collect that money and save it up. And that's how I was able to afford some of the more higher end games that I have paid for. Now, other times I'll find them for cheap and whatnot, but for the most part, the majority of this collection is because I bought games and sold games. Like, I don't just go out and expect to find the holiest of the grails, because that doesn't happen all that much. Also, look at all these new games right here. These are all expensive because they just came out. You're probably not gonna find a deal for a Nintendo Switch game for $5. So, what do? I found some for 15 bucks at the pawn shop, but there's a ton of things you guys should do. So first off, I'm gonna say is buy and sell games. So resell or trade in, whatever it constitutes. I'm gonna say buy, sell, trade. That's gonna be what I'm gonna call this section. Is buy games for cheap, sell them for more you paid for, or trade them. Now, GameStop has a trade-in credit deal, and sometimes they have good deals. Most of the times they don't, so don't rush out and go to GameStop and be like, oh, I want 20 bucks for this $20 game. You're not gonna get it, but sometimes you can get good deals. So trading in also works. Another thing that I've noticed is I always see people with consoles on sale, but I never see games anymore. So what I'll do is maybe I'll see a game that I want that's bundled with like 5 or 10 games. What I'll do is I'll make sure that I get that price down enough to where I can sell that console and the rest of the games I don't have, and at least recoup my costs. If I can recoup my costs and make money, that's golden. That's the best deal. But if I can make my money back in like 20 bucks and then keep the game for free, totally well worth it for me, because I would not have found that game in the wild. So for say, let's just use this Adventures of Link that I have sitting here. It's a box. If I saw this with say an NES bundle and it was 200 bucks, well, I know this is probably like a $30 box with the game in it, of course. I'm guessing, I haven't looked in a while, so don't judge me. And so they said 200 bucks. So that's immediately 170. I'll knock the price down. First off, I will try to haggle with them. So if they're gonna say 200 bucks, I'll say, would you take 100? Would you take 125? What's your lowest deal that you will be able to do? So usually they hit you with that. Then you negotiate a little bit. Sometimes people just flat out say no, and then when they say no, just be like, hey, sorry, I'm just trying to save money. What can I do to get this for cheaper? Like, a lot of people are nice, and if you're nice to them, they're probably gonna work with you. If they're not nice, no worries, you didn't miss out on much. But you could have that NES bundle with, say, 10 games. Well, say those games are $2 a piece, and you paid $10 for them. These games are well worth it. But back to the story. If that was 200 bucks, talk them down. Let's just say 140. 140 is probably a little bit lower than we would expect to get, but that's not a bad deal. So you've got the console itself with the controllers. You're talking 50, 60 bucks depending on what all you have and whatnot. Then you got 10 games. If the games are good, that might be a good deal. If the games are bad, it's definitely not a good deal. So look at the games and see, can I take this bundle and sell it for $150 when I just bought it for $140? Then you got a $30 game for free and you made 10 bucks. Like, that's definitely well worth it. So people like to say that it's dry in their area, but they just don't want to put in the work. So I've been thinking about this because it's January. I feel like this happens every year. I hit the places that I normally go and it just dries up. January gets hard. I understand. I have picked up maybe 5 games this month. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe 6 or 10. I don't know exactly. But I haven't found the $40 or 50 games that I normally find in a month. So I think that's a very interesting deal. Now, I did pick up some controllers for cheap, but those were as is. So there's a bunch of things going on this month that I picked up, but I really didn't pick up all that much. So it's dry in my area. I want you guys to know that. It is dry in my area right now. What does that mean? Does that mean I stopped going out and looking? No, not one bit. Keep working out. Keep going out and finding those games that you want, and you will definitely be happy. Make sure when you're going out and looking, you're seeing and looking hard, because honestly, about 2 weeks ago, I was at a thrift store and I saw some other things other than games that I was like, oh, I'm gonna go look at those. And when I came back to look at the games, I actually saw someone asking to go through them, and they pulled out a Mario Kart on the Wii. Now, could I have gotten that? Yes. Am I disappointed? Yeah. Am I jealous or worried about? No, it happens. You're always gonna find things and miss things, and maybe someone was gonna come out behind you and they missed it. So I don't like to worry about that stuff, but I do know it gets dry. Going out places, especially at the end of December and early January, or January and February, it gets to become a dry month just because people aren't donating as much, they're not buying and selling as much, because the holidays just hit them hard. So I definitely think you need to be on the lookout. I am going to say this, and a lot of people don't like this. If you can't find games in your area, find them online. Now, eBay is a place you can find games, but that's going to be where you're going to spend the most money. Facebook Marketplace, kind of the same thing. And Mercari as well. Mercari is kind of upping their price, but with that, you can always send offers, which means sometimes you'll see a $25 game posted for $25. You might get it for $18, you might get it for $20. So be on the lookout for that as well. Like, I am always watching how much Pokemon Crystal, I hate saying this because I don't want people to do this, but whatever. I'm always looking at Pokemon Crystal on Mercari. It goes between $32 and $35, but if I can get that under $25, usually there's enough profit for me to just buy it, get it home, clean it up, and repost it for $35, and I can usually do pretty good. So I'm saying that's a 10 extra bucks, not counting fees. Obviously you gotta pay fees, and sometimes you pay shipping, depends on how the deal is set up, whether you or the other person pays shipping. But that's a good way to look for ways to grow your collection. Buy games that you can buy online that are worth money at a discounted rate, and then you can clean them up, do a little bit of work, and resell them and make more money. So I definitely think that even though it is dry in your area and mine, definitely don't slack here. Now's the time to really work hard, and once you work hard here, you'll either have the money or you'll have good finds eventually. So that's all I have to think about saying when people always complain, well, my area is dry, I can never find games. I'm like, come on, I've got a box down here. You guys know, I've been talking about it for a little bit. I need to take care of it. Like, there's so much in here. But people don't want to put in the work. And I definitely think now is the time to put in the work in order to find more games and to be able to sell those games that you have, because if it's dry and people can't find games and you have a bunch of them to sell, definitely makes it easier for you to sell them if more people are looking. So with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for watching. I want to know what you think. Comment down below and let me know. Is it dry in your area in January, or do you always find an abundance of games? I want to know. Comment down below and let me know, and I will respond back to you. I want to say one last time, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell notification. That way you know when I post more videos, which is every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm trying to keep track of making sure I have 3 videos a week for you guys. So with that being said, one final time, thank you so much for watching, and make sure you have a good day.